Good evening, everybody. Give everybody just a few minutes to join in, and we'll talk a little walleye fishing on the Bago system. Hey, Nam, what part of Wisconsin you from? Kenosha. All right, nice. Yeah, so I'm looking outside at my pond right now, and my pond has gone up probably a foot and a half, if not more, in the last 2 weeks or so. Just an insane amount of rain we've received. And out on Winnebago today, and checking some, excuse me, some spots out there. I've noticed too that even the lake levels came up quite a bit. Um, it was pretty interesting to see how high the waters really come up. I know the river up in Fremont, we were up there with with the kids last week, and before all this rain, and it was starting to come up, just from a little bit prior, but I know it's really come up a lot. Good thing is it's filling our lakes back up out in Sheriff County. That's kind of a nice thing. We could use a whole bunch more to bring the lake levels up there, and just the general lakes themselves. I know we've been in serious drought, so a little bit of rain isn't going to hurt anybody, that's for sure. How was everybody's weekends? Did you guys get out and do any fishing over Memorial Day? I know the weather was pretty crappy for the most part all weekend long. Sunday was pretty much a washout. It was blowing and raining and who knows what else. A lot of storms, a lot of thunder, lightning, and even today, when we were out in Bago, we had some storms come in and just sat on top of the lake, and didn't really move anywhere, and we got off before it got real bad. But just crazy amount of rain we've received, and it can stop raining now for a little bit. At least give us a little bit of a break to let it dry up so I can get my lawn mowed. I'm gonna have to get some hay balers out here pretty soon to bale all the grass. Again, thanks everybody for joining. Please ask away. And says we got into some white bass on Monday in Fremont. Thanks for the tip. We had fun. That's awesome, Keith. That's what it's about, man. Glad you guys got into some, and there's still quite a few fish hanging around up in the river. So if guys are not done with the white bass yet, and if you want to go catch some, they're there. And for all the naysayers, the guys are absolutely just crushing them down in Fond du Lac. And there's a lot of them up in Neenah Menasha in the river as well. So all kinds of white bass action happening throughout the entire system. It's not just in the river in Fremont, and I know there's probably just a lot of jealous people out there about killing those things and whatever. I don't let it bother me, and I appreciate you guys tuning in and supporting what we're doing. But tips and trips. Do the bluegills and shellcrackers have their first spawn yet? So we're getting some fish that are starting to show up in the shallows. They really haven't started making their beds yet that I've seen. Water temperature is still about 65. We don't see them really get going, crazy until you get, that 68 to 72 roughly. And we're still a little ways from there. We're getting some pretty cold nights. I want to say cold, but cool nights. and the amount of rain that we've received has definitely kept things pretty cool as well. So over the next week or so, it's always the week after Memorial Day is kind of that general rule that you start to see a lot of fish get up on the beds and start doing their spawning. So now is a great time to go chase walleyes. Let the bluegills, hang tight and get their stuff done, and then you can go and chase them once they're done spawning. Like I say, I don't really beat up on them on the beds too much. If we do go out and do any fishing whatsoever, we're primarily just doing a lot of scouting, and if we are, it's a lot of catch and release. But I don't like to beat the fish up when they're on their beds. Just let them do their thing and come back in a couple of weeks and chase them over the deeper water. It seems to be a lot more fun, a lot more challenging, and the fishing is actually a lot better too once you start finding these fish, post spawn. It's pretty crazy. Don't feel so bad for getting skunked yesterday. Now, uh-oh. um, we today, so finally got a chance to get back out and start chasing some walleyes. We've got a few derbies coming up this weekend. The Cabela's MWC is in town, and then we've got our Bago Walleye Club on Sunday. I am not fishing the MWC. We did not sign up for that. I'm just going to concentrate on the Bago Walleye Club tournament, and got a bunch of clients this week here, so we'll be out there chasing around, and I actually think we are going to do some pan fishing one day this week too. So the walleye bite on Winnebago is probably some of the best. I mean, I thought the springtime was good, and we had an absolutely amazing spring run as far as the numbers and size and everything else goes. The lake is just absolutely on fire. If you have to troll right now, unless you absolutely love to do it, put your trolling stuff away. I told my guys today, I said, I'm not even going to bring the stuff along. The jig bite is so good right now. If you can't catch them jigging, then you need some more lessons. These fish are literally everywhere. We caught fish in the weeds today. We caught fish in the river today. We caught fish in the lake, out off some deep rocks. We've caught them on shallow rocks. It really did not matter where we went today. We caught fish, and they were all just cookie cutters. Those 18s, 19s, really, really nice fish. We did have a couple smaller ones up in the river, and it's you're gonna have that. There's so many good year classes out there right now, but that major year class of those 17 to 20s they're everywhere. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We should have a really really fun summer, and guys will be catching a lot of nice fish. So today, best bait for us, and still continues to be one of my absolute favorite baits for walleye fishing, is a Ned rig. My guys today, and are from Montana, and never caught a largemouth up until today. We did catch some bass today as well. But teaching a youngster how to throw a Ned rig and watching him catch a bunch of fish on it was pretty cool. And I sent him home with some willow vibes and some Ned rigs and some hula skirts, and they hopefully can go out. I know they're going to be fishing in town here the next couple of days, so hopefully they can replicate what we did today. Showed them a bunch of spots, and just put on a good fishing clinic. And we didn't really sit and beat up on anything at all. We caught a few, and we could have sat in a couple spots and probably put 40, 50 fish in the boat, but we didn't. We didn't. Everything was released today. We got one big perch that going to make a sandwich out of, and one walleye that was hooked pretty bad that ended up coming home. But everything else was all put back, all catch and release. So that was awesome. And the the willow vibe was really good with a 4-inch scented jerk shad. Otherwise, the diesel minnow on a 1/2 ounce thumper jig, just absolutely ripping that thing through the weeds or through the rocks. The walleyes are just crushing it. The nice thing about fishing these plastics, and I even threw a crawler today just to check and see, how well it would do, when we found a big pot of fish. I was throwing a jig and a crawler, and the guys in the back of the boat that were throwing the plastics outfished me a ton. I mean, we're not even close as far as the bite goes today. No, I mean, I caught a few on the crawler, but I quickly switched over to throwing some swim baits and some Ned rigs, and just absolutely put a smackdown on them. It's so much fun. You got a fish that normally people go out and finessing walleyes with leeches and crawlers and waiting for that tap or feed them some line. When you fish these plastics, these Neds and these swim baits, and just really rip these things, there's no question when you've got a fish on. I mean, these fish hit so flipping hard. If you're not holding on to your rod or you're not prepared, you better hang on, because it's going to rip the rod out of your hand. It is so much fun. A lot. That's, I guess, why we do the white bass thing too, right? Because when you're throwing spinners or small little baits up into the trees, up into the shallows, and those white bass hit, if you've never experienced that, numerous times, I'm like grabbing onto the rod even tighter, because I figure that these fish are going to rip the rods out of your hands. So if you've never done the plastic thing, guys, put the live bait away and just start. I'm going to do some videos. I know we've got some stuff lined up for Angling Buzz, to kind of explain swim baits for walleyes, and I'll do some of my own stuff with that as well, kind of off to the side. The different types of plastics, how I work them, and what I really want to do is get a lot of, or some of this underwater footage. I'm gonna have to go probably out here in Washera County on some of the clear lakes and throw some of these baits, and then take the cameras out and do some recording, just so you guys can see what these fish see. And it really kind of helps you understand on how to work these baits, and why I do some things a little bit different than what some guys do. Let's see. Who makes beds and willows? Where can we get them? So the Ned rigs, everything is a Z-Man product. So the Willow Vibes, tell you what, hang tight 2 seconds. I'll grab a couple and I'll show you. All right, I'm back. So let's talk about the Willow Vibes here first. Oh, that is what the package looks like. Willow Vibe. And then this is what it is. So it's a bladed jig, but instead of having, like a chatterbait style, you've got a willow blade. And this thing goes through the water. It swims through the weeds very, very nice. That's one of my favorite ways to fish this bait, is it'll go through the water like so. You got your snap up on the front there. And then this thing here just wobbles very fast, very, very fast vibration. And you pair that with, let's see. I love this color. This is the Sexy Pennies. This is the minnows from Z-Man. And you put this guy on this bait. So people that have never fished with the Elastec, it's a little different as far as getting these things perfectly centered. It's a little bit more difficult because the stuff likes to walk all over the place. But once you get it on and you get it centered on your hook and you want to pull this bait forward, it doesn't want to go over that hook keeper real well. Oh, sorry, so you guys can see it. It doesn't want to go over that hook keeper because the stuff just kind of bounces back. So what you actually have to do, and thank Gussie for kind of teaching me this, is actually grab this stuff, pinch it, and pull it up, and then snap it back in place. And then that way there, it'll come over the top of that hook keeper, which is... So you can kind of see that little hook keeper right there, or that little keeper. That really keeps that plastic on nice. So biggest thing is just, pull it, stretch it, and get that thing so it lays, perfectly horizontal on that hook. Now what you've got is a bait that is going to vibrate and walk all over the place with a paddle tail that's going to give it, a lot of really nice action. And this thing, you can fish it a bunch of different ways. You can just cast out in just a real slow, steady retrieve. Between the vibration of the blade and the tail, this thing's going to walk back and forth all over, up and down, and just attract, those fish naturally. The other way to fish it, and this is kind of how I give it to a lot of, younger kids or some of the clients, is just put a half a crawler on, cast it out, let it hit the bottom, and then just a nice, slow, steady retrieve in. And these fish will hit it, just kind of like almost like a crankbait. Now you get a little bit more aggressive. We're going to cast these things out and we're going to do big, big sweeping action or quick little pops. And when you do that with that blade, it vibrates so much that it kind of blows out. So it'll go off and shoot off to the side, up and down all over the place, and then let that thing fall back down and do it again. And you can really work these baits, a whole bunch of different ways. But this bait has been an absolute dynamite killer. And then again, when we go to the Ned rigs, this is what Z-Man's got, the Pro Shrooms, the Ned rig jig heads. If you don't know what a Ned rig is, it is a bait that is meant to fish vertical. So with the mushroom style head, it's going to sit on the bottom like this, and we'll take the turds, the finesse TRDs. A couple of my favorite colors for Winnebago is the Copper Truce and Twilight. But we're going to take a Copper Truce here and slide a Ned rig in. So believe it or not, guys, if you don't know what a Ned rig is, or, as bass guys call them, are turds, TRDs, and that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like a goose turd. There's nothing special to it whatsoever. And I'm just using the finesse TRDs, and we're going to slide this guy on. And I like to try and keep, when you got these contrasting colors, I like to try and keep that on. So one side is one color, one side's the other color. So when you're hooking these things, just keep that in mind and try and make that hook go right through the center of the color changes, and it'll be good to go. So now again, you can kind of see we're pretty much right on the center. So whether you got a dark and you've got a light, and anybody that watches knows how much we talk about contrast and colors. So again, we're going to try and slide this up, and we're not going to be able to get this thing up all the way. It's going to want to slide down a little bit. So again, you're just going to take this, you're going to pinch it, pull it up, and snap it into place. And then that way there, now it'll want to stay up. Now, to really seal the deal, fishing with with the last text, any of this Ned Rig stuff, any Z-Man stuff, it's very good to keep a bottle of super glue in the boat with you. You will go through a lot of it fishing this. All you do, you take a drop of super glue, put it on the top, let it sit tight to the head, and perfect. You're good to go. So now you can see this jig is perfectly vertical. And when we cast this thing out, it's going to lay on the ground like this. And when it's in the water, I've seen a bunch of people fishing different. Some guys are just kind of slowly walking back. I like to just shake the heck out of it, so that thing sits down there, bounce, 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 bounces. It's going down, through the water on the rocks, trying to keep it, on the bottom as much as possible. Just shake your rod tip and just let it sit. Shake your rod tip and then let it sit, and keep your rod tip up at all times, and then just keep working that back to the boat. And when this thing's sitting down in the bottom, and it's going down, fall down into some rocks, and then it'll come back up and fall back down into the rocks. That contrasting color, you got a dark and you got a bright, is that thing's sitting there wiggling. It's just going to attract those fish, and they come up and they come from the top down and just absolutely smoke it. That picture that you see on the Facebook page here from today, it's not there's a tap. It's one bite and it's gone, and you set the hook. Same thing, fishing with sharp hooks, with swim baits and whatnot, is when you're ripping these things, it's such a strong, aggressive bite. You're not going to have to worry about, feeling anything, or making sure that um, have to give them line, or you set the hook. I mean, that's really all it is. The other thing too, guys, I don't know about you, but it is getting absolutely ridiculous to spend the kind of money they're looking for crawlers. I've seen some places now 6.25, 6.50 a dozen. I'm sorry, 50 cents a night crawler is, there's no way I could ever afford to fish, with worms like we used to. Break one in half, throw the other half over the side of the boat. Now, if we have halves left, I'm saving them, collecting them all, and putting them in a separate bucket, just so we're not wasting them. You're literally just throwing quarters, flipping a quarter out. Every time you break a crawler in half and lose it, it's 50 cents a night crawler if you're buying the stuff by the dozen. So just ridiculous. It's just getting way out of hand on what prices for all this stuff is costing. What's really interesting, and I do a lot of traveling. Yeah, time to hunt crawlers at night. But what's really stupid is that the fact that the bait guys around here can charge $90 to $100, but yet over in Michigan, Ohio, these guys are getting $60 for a flat. So I don't know where the disconnect is, but somebody's screwing somebody somewhere, because they're all coming from the same place. I'm here to tell you there's, only probably two or three, wholesalers that ship crawlers in from Canada, and all the prices are the same. So whoever's marking stuff up and taking advantage of it, shame on you. I get it, it's capitalism, but guys, it's we're gonna force people to not even be able to go out to fish anymore because it's gonna be so expensive. For these kids and a father and son, or mom and their boys or whatnot, to go into a gas station and spend $6 or $7 a dozen crawlers. Sorry about that. Hopefully everybody joins back in here. I lost my wonderful Starlink, went out on us for a few minutes, but we are back.